What has been your visa journey in the US from a student to working 9 to 5 to now starting a company?
So fun that you asked, because my visa journey actually did not start from being a student. It actually started from being a dependent spouse.
Yeah.
So I came in on an H4. We realized that I can't go on an EAD for next 3 years. I was not ready for that gap. So I got into F1, got into Seattle University. Right out of college, I got my job, but I did not have a STEM degree, so my H1B was not picked in the first go.
Okay.
So I got an H4 again, continued with my jobs, and then I got an Uber, and then I got my H1B again. And then with all of these things, I was still doing things on the side. I realized that, okay, now if I want to make money from both the sides, I need to get back to H4. So I got back to H4 to have more flexibility. So if you can see, I've been in almost all the visas. I think L2 and B1 is remaining now.
Yeah, that's amazing though. So basically on H4, you can do any other job because you have an authorization.
Right. So with H4, I have an authorization like EAD, employment authorization document. The fun part of H4 is I can have as many income sources as I need to want to have. I'm not answerable to anybody. There's no one employer for H4 EAD.
Got it. Share, tell me, as an immigrant, you transitioned from 9 to 5 to starting a company. So how was that process?
Tough. Mentally. But then I always knew I wanted to do it, because when I landed, I found that huge gap that I couldn't find anybody I could speak with about my career progression. How do I change from India to US? How do I show those transferable skills? How do I become like a finance manager? Say, how do I become like a recruiter now? So I couldn't find anybody, and I think that gave me a lot of motivation to do it. Was it hard? Yes. Was it financially a hit? Yes. But I always wanted to do this.
Okay, so you basically first left your job and then you started pursuing this, or you kind of were thinking that, okay, maybe I can try it off when my job is there and then I'll figure it out once I feel like, okay, this is now stable, then I'll switch it.
Yeah, great question. So as an immigrant, I always think of stability first.
Yeah.
So I did that where I started it simultaneously with my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And then when I realized that, okay, there is a market need for it and then I can actually get something out of it as well, I started it and I could see that there was audience for it, right?
Nice.
So I definitely transitioned into full-time, but I was always doing this part-time. So I've been a coach part-time for almost 12 years now.
Wow.
Even when I was in India, I was a coach. So I think the transition was easier than directly jumping into it for me, because I like the idea of stability a little bit.
That's amazing. Since you are a recruiter, so I'll be asking you questions about landing a job and all those things. 3 key insights on how to get opportunities on LinkedIn in 2026.
One is be visible. Do not wait for people to come and reach out to you when you don't have a well-built profile, when you have no visibility. I always use the analogy like how you move in a neighborhood and then you're waiting for people to come to you, even you have baked cookies and you're waiting for people.
Yeah.
Nothing like that would happen. You got to go and knock. Okay. So one is be very visible. That means have cookies, have a decorated home. That means have a very well-built profile. Second, go and knock. That means go and reach out to people, DM them, send them resources that's useful for them.
Yeah.
Do not always think about yourself, think about them also. And third, I would say have a personal brand. That means if people would want to know your name, they need to understand what is it attached to. If you're a great data scientist, if you're a great product manager, they just need to know that either by communication or by your profile. If you're not out there, they don't know you that you exist.
So you mentioned about sending a resource to other people, right? So let's say if you're a software engineer and you're looking for full-time jobs. So what kind of resource should we send to others to get more networking opportunities?
That's such a great question. Yeah. So if I'm in conversation with you, I'm a software engineer who's looking for a job and you probably an engineering manager already. What would I do is I'll probably send a content to you, a post to you or a news piece to you and be like, hey, I thought about you because I saw your comments in other places and thought you're interested in this kind of topics. Or I would send it to you and be like, hey, last time we spoke, you were talking about ABC and here is more details on ABC, right? So do not always think about, hey, I need a job. Somebody needs to think about me and the spotlight is on me. The spotlight should be on the relationship and the network that you're building. Okay. So automatically you will also get that value. So just think of one, what is the similarity between you two and start sharing things about that. Second, if you all have spoken about something, then share more about that piece with them.
Okay. 3 key insights on how you can send a successful cold DM or cold email on LinkedIn or just emailing.
First is whenever you're reaching out to somebody, make it concise, to the point. Yeah. Nobody's there to read your life journey, right? So one, make it concise. Always have a JD, resume, the role link. Always have these 3 things if they have a role already. Give them an idea of where did you find their email from, so they're not spooked by the whole idea of wait, this is my personal ID, where did they get it from, right? I always love the idea of what you bring to the table should be there in that email, not in 7-10 sentences, literally 3 sentences. So like, what do you bring to the table and why you are a good candidate, or you should be given a chance to speak with them. So think of it that way: is the read should not be more than 90 seconds, and in that 90 seconds, if you can get their time, their concentration, their brain space, you're in.
That's amazing. Based on the data that you've seen, like working with like so many people or like helping them landing jobs. So what is the ratio that they should target for, let's say, sending X amount of emails versus getting Y amount of responses? What is that X by Y ratio?
So I would say if you're sending out 10, you should at least have 5 responses.
Five responses.
I know,
Okay.
right? It's idle. You're asked for idle, right? In this market, you'll probably get 2.
Okay.
But if your templates, if your messaging are very human, you would get those 50. I still get replies, right?
Okay.
I also reply to people, like I sit in my DMs like every night for an hour or more, and I reply to everybody where I know it's not AI generated, where I know it's not just a template, where somebody's not calling me with any other name and they're still calling me Shreya.
Yeah.
I know it is for me, right? So the biggest piece of advice I would give to anybody who's sending out messages, cold emails, DMs, make it human.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to be like no typos, AI, no grammatical mistake person. Yes, be that, but then do not forget to be human. So idle, I would probably say 50%, but if you're anywhere around that, you're solid.
Okay. One quick follow-up on being human. Give me 3 instances of how I can be a human through a cold email.
One, I can read their profile and be like, hey, you've gone to this school, I've gone to this school
Okay.
as well. Hey, I saw
Amazing.
your comment on this one, and that was super insightful. That made me like find your email and send you that email, right? Third could be if they have like any anniversaries, birthdays, anything that they're celebrating on LinkedIn that you saw, you can just send out and be like, hey, I saw that you celebrated in your anniversary. Must be exciting. Like, tell me more about it. But before you do that, here is who I am.
That's amazing. These are really cool insights.
I tried that.
3 key insights on how one can optimize their resume in 2026.
One, people have been talking a lot about keywords, right? And I think people have overdone the idea of what keywords look like. And this is very important. All I would say is like divide your skills into 3 parts. One is anything that you're between 5 to 10. 10 being you're an expert, 5 to 10.
Yeah.
You want to make sure everything is there in the resume, in your bullet points, in your skills section, and in your summary as well. Anything which is 3, 4, you want them to be in your skill section. Anything which is less than 3 is something that you can actually delete it, right? That's the first advice that I would have.
Okay.
Second, we have a lot of conversation around 1 page or 2 page.
Yeah.
If you feel like 1 page doesn't suffice, 1 page doesn't add value like you would add value to the organization, make it 2 page by all means. But do not write down every damn thing that I walked to the office, I walked to the meeting, and then I suggested something. People write the whole damn stories in it, which does not add value. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Third, if you're ready to work, you're ready to relocate, if you have the work permissions, like you don't need sponsorship, all of those smaller details should be there. So they get an idea of like what they are getting into, right? I know applications have that as well,
Yeah.
but sometimes ATS also filters through that, right? So write it all down. One free tip, you only ask for 3, but I'll give
Sure.
you one more.
Okay.
People do not write their bachelor's degree because I think some smart person have said it, like if you have a master's, then it's okay to not write bachelor's. Please do write it.
Yeah.
ATS don't know that, oh, masters only come after the bachelor's, and they sometimes would filter it out if they don't see the bachelor's degree.
Interesting. That's a very key insight. 3 key insights on how someone can successfully negotiate an offer in 2026.
Okay, so the negotiation starts not the minute you get an offer, but the minute you start the conversation with them, right?
Yeah.
So the first tip would be start that value addition from day one. That means the minute you're starting to speak to the recruiter or an OA,
Yeah.
your value addition should start from there, right? That'll be the first thing. Second, all through the interview, don't think about how can I shine as a candidate. Think about, if I was already an employee, how would I solve these problems?
Yeah.
What challenges are they talking about? So think from the perspective of you in the future as an employee, what would you do, right? So again, value addition part of it. Third, do the market research, obviously.
Yeah.
Do not always talk about that, hey, I need this much, else I would not take it. Definitely talk more about how much you want this job and how much the numbers are the only thing that we both need to work on,
Yeah.
right? Never tell them that it's on them now, that if they decide the number, then you're okay, else not.
Yeah.
Always tell them that, hey, how can we make this work together? They need to feel that you're interested, you are a team, while they're trying to make the numbers work. I'll again say it, recruiters are friends. They want you to get hired. The company wants you to get hired.
Yeah.
If you show them you have the value and you have the zeal to be here, you want to be here with the numbers that they're giving, they would give you the better numbers that they
Yeah.
were asking for.
Sometimes like these big tech companies, they have like set numbers. They don't want to like negotiate further, and they say that, okay, this is my last offer to you. So is there any negotiation possible after that?
There's usually negotiation possible. If you're asking for a higher base salary, they are under a base salary limit for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Now again, that's more compliances and legal things. But then you can always ask for like a sign-on bonus. You can always ask for like more stocks in this space. You can always ask for relocation, like more relocation, right? So there's some leeway there. I'm not saying there is nothing.
Yeah.
But there are times when they have like a set range, and if they're saying that they cannot do anything more than that, and for whatever reason they're ready to lose you as a candidate, then you probably know that they don't have the space to do it.
Okay. What are the chances that they pull out the offer? Like how frequently does that happen?
Not very frequently. Why would somebody invest like a month of their time, their resources just
Yeah.
to say no to you, right? Now, if you have said something in the beginning as a candidate that I said that, hey, I'll be okay with 200K, and later I realized that, oh, I didn't do the market research well, my friends are getting 220K,
Yeah.
I'm going to go and ask for 220K, that's when it gets, like, then it could flip, right? Because then you did say 220. Or like if you say I don't need a visa sponsorship, and later you decide that, hey, now I have an offer, I'm just going
Yeah.
to go tell them I need a sponsorship, then it could flip it. But how much percentage? I would probably say it's a very, very, very small percent, because even they want you as much as you want
Yeah.
them, right? They do. There is no
That's
question
true.
about that. And I know that people are talking a lot about like, hey, there are a lot more people versus a lot lesser jobs. Yes, but then there are only this many skilled people.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true.
So, I mean, if you would look at that ratio, that's not very imbalanced. So, does it happen? It does, that they can take an offer back, but does it happen very frequently? No.
Okay. Given with the AI trends now, how is the recruiter role changing in 2026 and beyond?
Yeah, that's such a great question. It is changing a lot, because I think the early pre-qualifiers or the filtering screening calls that we were doing, now a lot of AI tools are doing it, right?
Really? Okay.
Yes. So like you would see, like even before the screening call, between the OA and the screening call, you'll probably get like an automatic call as well, where a
Okay.
recruiter would be sitting. You'll have to sit with an AI bot, and then you'll just have to answer that. Now we don't know what they're assessing, because with a human you would know that, oh, bro, they're not liking it or they're liking
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
With a robot, you'll probably not know it. And I call AI robot, okay? I mean, don't come at me. But I call it that, right? So it is changing, because
Yeah.
I think earlier, before the COVID era, or like before the market got really crazy, if for a role there were like 500 applicants, right now for the same role, there are like 1,700 applicants, 1,800 applicants if they don't close it, right?
Yeah.
So only imagine, it is so difficult for one or two recruiters also to clean it up. And it's not fair, because now candidates are waiting for like 3 weeks to get a rejection or to get a confirmation, right? So has it changed? Yes. Are there tools which is helpful? Yes. Are there better filtering process? Possibly yes as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it's changing.
Okay. And in terms of recruiting now, how is that changing, in the sense like, are there like now more opportunities as a recruiter, or that is getting impacted with the advent of AI?
I love that question. So, is it getting impacted? Yes. I think there are more short-term roles available right now than more long-term roles.
Yeah.
Again, because everybody is assessing the idea of what this change is going to bring to their industry.
Yeah.
Obviously, the bigger companies already have an idea, and they already have a very clear idea of the headcount of the AI in
Yeah.
their companies, right? But the tier 2, tier 3 companies are still figuring that out, and that's why they like to put in more short duration, like 6-month, yearly roles out there, and not a full-time role out there, right? Does that mean the recruiting is going to go away? I don't think so, because there's still that human conversations that you need. There's so many follow-up questions that we have that you can't ask, and
Yes.
in an AI interview, which is weird. No, it won't go away. It's just that if you are in that percentage of skilled candidates, you will still get that job.
Awesome. What are the 3 core differences in recruiting across Amazon, TikTok, Uber, and Microsoft?
Great question. And I think I've worked with them at like different phases of my career also.
Yeah.
So that could also impact. So I think in Amazon, the process is a little longer, because their understanding of what candidate they want and what kind of team they want to match it with sometimes is a little different,
Okay.
right? With TikTok and with Microsoft, I think they have a very clear idea of what kind of candidates they want, and they only start the pipeline when they have that understanding. With Amazon, I've seen that they would keep it open like product managers, and then they would figure it out like where do they want these product
Yeah.
managers or program managers, and then they'll figure it out later, right? With Uber, they were very, very clear
Okay.
in terms of like, okay, this team needs this one person, this is one head count that we're going to open. And I think that also ties back to an idea of how many people we are hiring and how many people we are letting go of, right? Because if you have a very clear idea, I need one head count and I'm only taking one head count, the chances of me letting go of a lot of people at the end of the year would be less.
True.
So I think, yeah.
Okay. Can you rank these 4 companies in the order of like harder coding interviews?
Can I? Yes. Do I want to? No.
Okay.
But no, I
Yeah.
can. So I think in terms of coding interviews, Amazon probably would be the hardest, is what I would say.
Okay.
The second would be TikTok, then it'll be Microsoft, and then it'll be Uber,
Okay.
right? And this is coming from an idea of what I have seen candidates experiencing during the interview and the kind of feedback they receive. That means I'm not only talking from the perspective of the question, I'm also talking from the perspective of the competencies of the feedback that we have in the backend with the hiring managers.
Very interesting, because I thought of like in terms of these 4 companies, probably like Uber and TikTok would be at the top, and then Amazon, and then Microsoft at the end. Okay.
I'll tell you why
Yeah.
not. Because I think there's a lot of content out there for Amazon and for Microsoft, and then people have an idea of how to prep for it, and that's why they think that, oh, this is accessible. We have an idea of what we're going to do, and
Yeah.
then we can just crack it, right? And then with Uber and other things, we think that there is no visibility with Uber and TikTok, and that's why we feel it's going to be the toughest,
Yeah.
right? I don't think that's the way, honestly. At least from the experience of the candidates that I have seen.
Okay.
I haven't solved it myself. For me, all
For
4
sure.
are tough.
Yeah.
But I think from what I've seen with candidates
Yeah.
experiencing
Yeah.
it, I think that ranking fits.
Okay, amazing. Can you rank these 4 companies in the order of harder behavior interviews?
Amazon, TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft, and Uber, I would probably keep it in the same way.
Okay.
My Microsoft interview was tougher in terms of behavioral, but my Uber interview wasn't, because
Okay.
like I think my hiring manager was amazing.
Yeah.
And I think in the Microsoft, my hiring manager was very clear of what kind of candidate they're looking for.
Okay.
So I think it could also depend on the manager, what kind of questions they pick. Everybody has like a kind of a question bank that they
Yeah.
need to pick it from. So I would probably rank it that ways.
And this is applicable for like all kinds of interview roles, right? In general, like let's say for software roles or
Yes,
data.
I have mostly done like tech
Yeah.
behavioral interviews, so I'm talking more from that perspective. I wouldn't know otherwise, like from like non-tech perspective of finance and all, but I've done like mostly tech. And in the tech, the behavioral matters a lot because you are still working with a lot of stakeholders,
Yeah.
right? And then you're also working in silos, but you're also working with a lot of stakeholders. So for them, behavioral matters. And it is, I think in the last 5 years, everybody has gone crazy in terms of behavioral interviews,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
nobody was talking about it earlier as much as people are talking about it now.
Yeah, I think it's also because of like Amazon's those 12 leadership principles, and they have become like a industry standard now.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to prepare those like all leadership principle questions, and focus
Yeah,
on that.
but I know that because my candidates are like prepping for all kind of companies, and now all kind of companies are asking it. And I know earlier only Amazon would ask it, and
Yeah.
then kind of Google started it. But Google doesn't have like a set principle, but they still ask like great behavioral questions. It's not out there, but they ask great behavioral questions.
Yeah.
But now every other company wants to know like, what is your challenge? What's the disagreement with the manager? It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like now part of the script that you have
It
to prepare.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Agree.
Can you rank all these 4 companies in the order of harder product interviews?
Oh, the first I could think of was Uber, because I know that I've had friends, candidates doing that, and I was hiring for like director of product managers, so I've seen that
Okay.
craziness, right? I'll probably put TikTok second, and then I would go with like Amazon, Microsoft, somewhere around the similar. Depends on the team then.
Okay, amazing. And last one is, can you rank all these 4 companies in the order of harder leadership interviews?
Yes, I can. TikTok, I would say, would be the first one. Second would be Amazon for me.
Okay.
Third would be Microsoft, and fourth would be Uber. And like, this is again coming from my experience. It's not that I would know like individually all part of the businesses, but this is coming with my experience and the knowledge I have from the industry. Why? Because I think they have a very clear idea of what their leaders should look like, and they have a very clear idea of what their placement should be, right, in the market.
Okay.
And clearer the company is of who it is in the market, clearer they are about what kind of leaders they want, right? And that makes it tougher for them and for the candidates as well to find that match, right?
Okay.
Now, Amazon is pretty clear of what they want from the market, what they offer to the market, and that's why they have clarity.
Yeah.
TikTok has clarity in that as well, because they have very clear idea that almost their whole leadership is out of the US.
Yeah.
Most of them don't sit here, right? So the very clear idea, if they find somebody in US, they need to be like up to that standard, needs to work in those time zones and all of that. So I think who am I as a company and what am I in the market kind of defines who do I want as leaders.
So you've worked at Uber, Amazon, Microsoft, and TikTok. How many seconds did you actually look at the resume before rejecting it at all of these 4 companies?
Do you really want me to say this? Okay, no. So I would probably say 15 seconds is where I start with.
Okay.
And then once I have an idea that wait, these 15 seconds were worth it. I found something that I really want to look into, and then I will go deeper. I've never just rejected a resume because I couldn't understand anything in the 15 second. I would definitely find some value, right?
Okay.
And the value could be if they've worked under the same title, right? If they've worked at the companies that I'm looking for to get the candidates from, if the kind of work experience or the kind of tools that I'm looking for, right?
Okay.
But I think 15 seconds is a good enough time for me to look at the resume, skim through it, decide if I want to spend like more 3 minutes into it.
Okay. And this has been consistent across all these 4 companies that you've worked at?
Yes and no, obviously,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm looking at somewhere where like I have like 1,500 applications,
Yeah.
if I have like somebody which is like super junior as well,
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend that much time. I'm going to quickly move and have a very clear idea of what I'm looking at. But if I'm looking at somebody who's like a director at product manager, I'll probably spend more seconds into it for sure.
Nice. Some people like suggest that you can put like some skills or like some keywords in like white text so that it hides with the resume.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So is that a good practice? Or
No,
not?
I would really want to see who started this.
Yeah.
Like I've been reading this and I was like, what? Who started this?
Yeah.
No, you don't have to do it. If you have the skills, show it in the black font. People will read it.
Yeah.
ATS will read it and you should be solid.
Yeah.
Because even if the ATS filters it because of the white font, and if the non-ATS means the human, if they would read it and not find the keywords, what's going to happen? They're still going to reject you.
Yeah.
Right? So they're not going to blindly look at it and be like, oh, now you're here, so why don't you go in the final round? Nobody's going to do that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So no, don't do that, because this way every job seeker is trying to pressurize themselves into getting into something which is not in their hands.
Yeah,
You're
which is-
in your hand, you have the skill set, you have the right network that you can build, you have the way to build your visibility. You don't have to do all these
Yeah.
black magic.
Yeah. And there's another thing on LinkedIn that it's like open to work, right? So how much does that matter? Like, should you show that desperation to recruiters or should you not show that? Because you can avoid that open to work and still be like open for opportunities, and there's a setting on LinkedIn that you can do,
Yeah.
that you're open to recruiters finding you on LinkedIn. So is that even important?
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Please.
If we go in the dating app, do we say we're desperate to date?
Technically, no. Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
Same way. If I say I'm open to work, I'm not desperate.
Okay.
I'm looking for work. I have skill set. I'm talented, and I want a company and a platform to show it.
Okay.
How is that desperation? Right? And for anybody who's on a visa, who's on a timeline, who wants that financial stability or who wants that platform to work, all the way more reasons to show that.
Okay.
Right? So short answer, no. There is no desperation there. You should be able to write that, that, hey, I'm open to work and I'm open to have these conversations, right? Because as a recruiter, if I'm reaching out to you and you don't have an open to work banner, then I'm okay if you're not replying for a couple of more days. Like, okay, they're not looking for a job, I'm just reaching out to you, cool.
Yeah.
Right? If you have an open to work banner, if I'm reaching out to you, I'm expecting you to reply within few hours because I know you're looking for this opportunity
Interesting.
as much as I'm looking out for you as well,
Interesting.
right? So
Okay. Sometimes recruiters also ask when we are like on the first call that are you actively applying? Obviously, they want to see the timelines and they want to ensure that other offers, they want to like ensure that the full interview goes on before you get other offers. So is there anything else also that goes in their mind when we give an answer? Let's say like we are actively applying or we're not. In terms of desperation, if I have to directly ask you.
yes, I mean they would need to understand that are you just window shopping and wasting their time and might not take the offer at the end, or do you actually want to? Because if you're actively applying somewhere else, then they know that, oh, this is something that is important for you, you would want it, and you're not just wasting their time and your time in the process,
Okay.
right? Does it matter in terms of desperation? I would say yes and no both. If you're actively applying, if you have like multiple other interviews, then you're desperate and you want this as much as they want
Yeah.
you.
So is that like a positive thing or a negative thing?
It's positive if you're saying that yes, I'm actively applying and then I'm interested and I
Yeah.
want to move forward. It's negative if you say that, oh yeah, I have like 15 interviews, I'm in the final calls, and then they will be like, okay, wait, if I give them an offer, they might not take it because they have 15 more final interviews,
Yeah.
right? So I like saying it. Only share the information that is important to keep this relationship going. Do not overshare it.
Okay.
It's not a therapy session.
Do recruiters really read cover letters in 2026? Is that even important?
Yes and no. So yes, in the sense that if it's for a smaller role, then yes, they're reading if what can you bring to the table. If it's a very generic role that, hey, I want a product manager. Now, what kind of product manager they haven't said it, then in the cover letter, you can talk more about like what kind of product manager you have been or you are. It is useful when you have transferable skills. That means you're transitioning from, let's say, data analyst to data scientist. You can write a little bit more in that cover letter, right?
Okay.
No, in the sense that if you've been in the same industry, same kind of roles for a long period of time, not a lot of people are looking at. I personally have never accepted or rejected a candidate because of the cover letter.
Okay.
I've never done it. I don't think my colleagues has done that as well. But if you have an option to upload a cover letter, that probably take 15 minutes. Like the basic draft would take 15 minutes, and then every time you're editing, it would probably take 2 minutes. You should just submit it.
Okay. So if you had to give me like top 5 companies that give value to cover letters, which will those companies be?
I don't think any
Okay.
company would value cover letters over anything else that you're sharing.
Okay.
So if you've not shared a cover letter, it's not the company or the recruiter or the ATS is going to reject it. No, nobody's doing that.
Okay.
I think we're just playing the safe game that if there is a way to upload the cover letter and they're asking for it, just go ahead and do it, even if it's optional. If it's mandatory, then you have no option. But if it's an optional thing, still go ahead and do it, is what I'm saying. But again, if you'll ask me to find 5 companies, I
Yeah.
don't think any company would value cover letters over everything else that they're already getting, which is resume and LinkedIn.
Yeah, that makes sense. You also have a co-founder in your company, right? So tell me, like, how did you meet him, and like, how did you guys figure out that this is something for you guys together?
Right. So for the record, I'm the co-founder. He's the
Okay,
founder.
okay.
So he founded the company and then he founded me as well. So I
Okay.
think we all talk about networking. So he did that the best way.
Nice.
So he reached out to me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
His name is Chintan Shah. So he reached out to me on LinkedIn and he's like, hey, both of us are coaches in Seattle. Why don't we meet? So we met and then we saw that both of us have like some great qualities which are pretty complementary to each other. So then he proposed partnership and we got into partnership in
Nice.
2024.
So if you had to talk about in terms of complementary skills that a founder should have, so what was in Chintan versus you that you guys thought like, okay, this way we can like excel in this business?
Great question. So I think in terms of what he brings and what I bring to the table, he is an operation guy, he's a finance guy, and then he's very much into processes and structure, and is literally a data lead. Like we've not found somebody who can do data better than him, right?
Okay.
So this is everything that he brings to the table, and that's why he's the founder, because he kind of had that basis even before I met
Yeah.
him, right? And then where I come into the picture is like I am great in like personal branding. I'm good with like the professional skills that I bring to the table, which is like recruiting, the
Yeah.
perspective of that. And also I'm very service oriented, like means the coaching part of it, right?
Yeah.
So he brings a lot of like business plus coaching and I bring a lot of like service plus coaching part of it. So
Okay.
when we sit to the table, I think that is like a huge business
Yeah.
globe that we're talking about.
That's amazing. Last question. Advice for people who are trying to find opportunities in 2026 in the US.
If you are trying to find opportunities in US in 2026, one, be visible. If you're not there on social media of job search, which is LinkedIn, I don't think you exist for me or for any other recruiter or for any other professional being,
Yes.
right? Second, whatever you are saying should impart authority, should impart value. That means if you're talking, your comment should not be like interested, congratulations, this has blown my mind. No, this is not sharing anything. Any comment that you put out there, any visibility tactics that you're using out there should show your authority, should show your insights, should show your knowledge out
Expertise.
there. Right? Expertise out
Yes.
there. Third, your DMs should not be all about you. Your DMs should be so much more about them also.
Yeah.
That means that, hey, I was just going through your profile. I loved what you do, and I'm pretty sure like 15 minutes of conversation can be very insightful for me, right? Rather than saying that, hey, I'm a job seeker, I'm looking for a role. Can you speak to me for 15 minutes? It'll be useful, right? Because it's
Yeah.
all about you again.
Yeah.
So just play well with your words.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course, you're
This was
welcome.
really good.